So you guys have to work together these two separate layers this season. I saw in the premiere, Rossi's dealing with these kind of ghost hallucinations. And then obviously, I'm assuming at some point later down the road, you guys have to actually come together for the case. How did you work out, if at all, any kind of difference in there? What are we going to be looking for as an audience with that dynamic?
Uh, you know, it's been fun because it is like kind of two different versions of the way we interact. And I think uh in Rossi's head, Ghost Voight is kind of a little more mellow. He's still messing with him, but it's kind of calm because it's his internal thing, and so he never loses stuff. I think uh real life Voight when they get to interact, and this is real life Voight with everyone, is kind of very clearly trying to get under everyone's skin and push all their buttons because he knows the more riled up they are, the less clear they'll be thinking, and the more he can take advantage of.
Yeah, I think Zach's made it. That's a pretty valid point. I would agree with that. In the sense that, and also I've run the gamut with him. I mean, here's a character that, as of the end of last season, buried me underground in a vault, you know, and it, for all intents and purposes, looked like that was going to be the end of David Rossi. Obviously, we got past that. So I mean, so you take it from the ridiculous to the sublime in a way, and back again. There's on one hand, you've got this somebody was such a major threat probably in terms of villains I've had to face in my career versus somebody who's also, has got that like you said, that getting under your skin side of him, that almost that, hey, everything's, and I've met his family, I've met his wife, I've met his children. So that dichotomy is very interesting kind of balance to play.
Would you say for Dave, how is he feeling with these hallucinations in terms of how you're playing it or how you approached it? Is is he seeing this more as his doubts, or because episode two, it almost felt like it was his conscience with that case that came up of, you really need to tell Emily this is not who you think it is. So is it a little bit of both? Is it just whatever's creeping in at the time?
I think it's something that I think, I do, I just personally, I do a lot with our United States military. And I know that a lot of them suffer, versions of PTSD and things like that. And I think this is almost a clinical case of somebody knowing the ego that David Rossi has. He's in ultimate denial that this is as bad as it could be or should be, and that it's something he's almost like it's there, but I'm going to have to deal with it. And then we will see how much I have to deal with it over the course of, it's obviously a factor. It starts out, within this new season, and we'll see how it gets dealt with during the course of it.
And Zach, when you approach the different members of the BAU, we've seen at least what we've gotten so far, with JJ and then with Luke. Does Voight really know each particular person as well as he thinks he does? Were you coming at it as something separate for everybody, or just get under the skin however you can in the moment?
I think we'll kind of come to learn that he knows about as much about the BAU as anyone does. And so I think it's very targeted, it's very thought out about what ways to go about getting underneath people's skin. Um, and you'll see it with different characters as Voight gets to interact with more of the BAU as the season goes on. So, there's a certain level of annoyance that is annoying to anyone. So that's kind of blanketed towards everyone. But I think the specific things he's saying to people, and that's a credit to the writers that they've kind of developed the interactions between Voight and the different team members are very specific to how they go.
That makes sense. And is there, between the two of you, is there either dynamic that you prefer, either the actual face to face or the more hallucinatory, not actually there?
I personally prefer all the face-to-face stuff, and and you will discover there will be certainly those instances of that. Because when we get into the hallucinatory thing, I'm kind of at a definite disadvantage. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
it's pretty one-sided. That's
the face to face is fun because you get to really interact as opposed to the kind of ghost voice stuff. It's just a voice. I mean, I'm essentially just a voice that's in his head.
right.
Um, So, he doesn't even look at me ever. This guy does, he just tries to ignore me. It's not fun. It's rude.